Yo.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? The Cool Geek here, and I'm at you with another video. And today, I am doing a Flash power scale. I've had them in the previous two versus battles, and guess what? This little lady made the victory 100% sealed, and we'll go over her at the end. She's not just a pretty face; she's also the most powerful slash fastest Flash. But I'll get into that later. I'm gonna go progressively, weakest to strongest Flash. Let's first get out of the way that the movie adaptation of Flash is actually the weakest. He is complete fodder. I've seen a few episodes, and I believe he had trouble even getting close to the speed of light. So, yeah, that's important to keep in mind. So, and I thought this meme was pretty funny. Someone should tell him running in a straight line would be much faster. But, yeah, that's pretty funny. But on to the actual power scale. So, actual, like, movie Flash is, like, building level at best. But, with that out of the way, let's go to base Flash from the comics. And this is, you can scale Wally from Barry. Wally has better consistent feats than Barry, but Barry has shown he's been able to use certain techniques, because Barry, when he fights, since he saw Wally just disappear from existence in front of him, he was a little bit touchy about the Speed Force, so he'd only tap into so much unless he really had to. But when he gets into a really tight situation, he can pull out those Wally-type speeds. But we know that the Flash has surpassed the speed of Superman, and Superman has confirmed billions of times faster than light feats, as when he flew from the edge of the universe to Earth in a few days. I think it was like 60 days. Also, some direct feats from the Flash was when he saved, I think it was 1 million people from before a nuke could go off, and that was approximately 16 trillion times the speed of light. Lowballing, and highballing would be more like a few quintillion times the speed of light. And that's what he's most known for, is his speed. But he has a few hacks, really good hacks, I might add. And one is his ability to phase through objects and people. But this ability does have limits, as shown when Supergirl kneed him in the face and Wonder Woman punched him. So it does have limits. He can't just phase through people with absolutely no limits. Like, some people wank this ability to high heavens. Like, oh yeah, you see, like, God over there, yeah, just phase through him. Or you see with the one above all, I just freaking phase through him. But no, it actually has limits, as you can clearly see here. Supergirl knees him in the face, and his freaking nose starts bleeding. Also, he can speed steal. What he does, the in-universe explanation, is he steals people's speed force, and that immobilizes them and turns them into statues. He has this really big room full of statues. It's freaking crazy. You even see, like, other speedsters in there. You see, villains, other speedsters, and, you know, stuff like that. Now, let's move on to power. I know Flash isn't really known for power, and it's a bit tricky to scale his power. But you can scale from when him and Zoom were fighting and they were tearing at the fabrics of the multiverse. Now, this is not, it's stronger and weaker than you think, because if you think this puts him at, like, some sort of, like, omniversal level, you're freaking, you're wanking. But if you think this is only like galaxy level, you're really lowballing here. This feat would firmly put him at multi-universal, possibly low multiversal, like maybe 1,000 times universal. And this is shown by, he's not destroying the multiverse or even threatening to. He's just displacing people and rearranging events. So, not the same thing as destroying it. And also, that's a good feat, but if you want to lowball slash highball Flash, you can use the Infinite Mass Punch, and Barry states that his Infinite Mass Punch hits with the force of a white dwarf star, and the comic says that his mass reaches towards infinity, so he can, if he hits infinity, that would make him infinite 3D attack potency. Now, if you use this feat, it's really weird because it supposedly works with physics, because there's this one theory that states that nothing can move faster than light. And fun fact, that is just a theory. Most people take this as fact, but since nothing besides like nothing has moved faster than light that we've observed as humans before, we just assume nothing can move faster. But that's just a theory, an assumption. So theoretically nothing can move faster than light, but on the flip side, theoretically something, given the right circumstances, can move faster than light. I myself has hypothesized before that if light cannot escape a black hole, so anything with any sort of mass that gets sucked into a black hole would move in at faster than light speeds, which is something I'm surprised I've never heard anywhere before. And because if you think about light, for the black hole to overpower it, it would have to suck with more force than the light is propelling away with, which means it would pull with at least the same amount of force, because the light, it just goes on in one direction, it doesn't keep adding more power. So you can say that if a black hole can pull in light at light speed, it should be able to pull in something with actual mass at faster than light speeds, since it's just like gravity. The heavier something is, the quicker it would be pulled towards it, right? Just like the planet. The heavier you are, the harder you're gonna hit the ground, or the faster you're gonna hit the ground. So the heavier you are, logically, the faster you'd be pulled into a black hole. So if light gets pulled in at light speed, something like, say, a star or a planet should be moved in at least slightly faster than light speeds. But that's just context behind the Infinite Mass Punch. Plus, we've already said that Superman has confirmed billions faster than light speed, and he's not a speedster, because apparently the Speed Force is supposed to be the thing that protects Flash from all this science, and not being affected by like, he's not affected by the reason that you can't move faster than light. But Superman does the same thing on a way lesser scale. Like I said, Superman moves at billions, Flash does at trillions. But Superman isn't setting off nuclear bombs either, so I mean, is that even really a law in the DC verse? I mean, it's debatable. But yeah, that's out of the way. So that's his speed. You can go with white dwarf star level, multi-universal, infinite, third dimensional, whatever you want to call it. And the Flash's speed on also, let's get back to his speed, because that's actually a low ball, 16 trillion times the speed of light, because the Flash has ran faster than teleportation before, which can actually put him at infinite speeds, and even low tier 4th dimensional speeds if you really want to go there. Since he did outrun it, he didn't match it. He actually blatantly surpassed teleportation, which should be the equivalent of infinite speed. So that puts him at low tier 4th dimensional. And that's just base Flash, which is actually one of the weakest ones. You know, base Flash from the comics is obviously faster than the one in the movies, but still nowhere near the fastest and strongest in all of comics. Now, let's go with one of the, what a lot of people assume is the fastest / strongest Flash in all of comics. And that's God of Death Flash, and we have to scale him from, God of Death Flash, we have to scale him from Darkseid, which fought with Anti-Monitor. So, Anti-Monitor, we scaled Darkseid from Anti-Monitor because Anti-Monitor was about a multiversal threat. You can say low multiversal. Well, you remember that multi-universal fight between Zoom and Barry? Well, Anti-Monitor does stuff like that casually, not by fighting really hard and and just like not giving two craps. He actually tries to freaking eat universes and crap, and he does it without breaking a sweat. So you can easily say low to like mid multiversal. And he fights with Darkseid, right? And he can't win, so he pulls out a secret weapon, right? The Black Racer. But it has to fuse with the host to, do anything. So here comes freaking Barry Allen, who was the Flash at the time, fusing with Death and one-shotting Darkseid, who was on par with Anti-Monitor. Now, you can make the argument that this Anti-Monitor was a bit tired because, was on the, he one-shotted Darkseid. And you could argue that this Darkseid would be fatigued, obviously, because he was fighting with Anti-Monitor. And they were on par, but it should be noted that Darkseid was slightly overpowering Anti-Monitor. But, like I said, he was weakened to a significant degree. And Flash one-shots him. Now, this puts Flash firmly at, like, mid-high to high 4th dimensional. I wouldn't say quite infinite 4th dimensional and nowhere near 5D, but, if you really wanted to go there, you could. But that would be a bit of a fallacy, since there was that one comic where I think it was either Barry or Wally outran the Black Racer, and that was only him just outrunning to... He basically ran to the world of Void from Dragon Ball, and that was enough to kill Death. So where Death couldn't exist on a conceptual level, which was a 4th dimensional feat. So Flash and Death fusing could be, possibly high 4th dimensional, and so that would make sense. But now let's move on to the big one, the thumbnail, which was not clickbait. Sela Allen is the least well-known Flash. I'm trying to give her some recognition. I put her in all of my Flash versus battles, and guess what? She made them one shot. Anyway, let's explain what Sela Allen, why she looks like this, right? Looks like some pretty nice fan fiction, right? Well, Sela Allen was a Flash, and she was gravely injured by a supervillain, and she was put in the Speed Force to recover. And when she was put in the Speed Force, her consciousness actually fused with it, and she became what you see here today. Now, in case you don't know, the Speed Force is this area on the New 52 map, and if you don't know too much about dimensional tiering, which we're gonna get into, watch my power scaling video, and my dimensional tiering video. I'll have it in the iCard. It might have popped up already. But essentially, if you're 4th dimensional, you're infinitely stronger than a 3D being. So if there was an infinite 3rd dimensional being, infinite 3rd dimensional being would get one shot by a 4th dimensional grain of sand level fighter. So if that fighter can't even hurt a grain of sand, right? If they can't kick over a 4th dimensional sandcastle, right? They're too weak to do that. They'd still one-shot an infinite 3rd dimensional being. And now I've heard some people argue, what are you talking about? Time isn't the 4th dimension. Well, you're right and wrong. It's not the 4th spatial dimension. It's the 4th dimension that we perceive. It's a temporal dimension. So, aka, it's not in string theory. It's in quantum mechanics. And before you say, oh, DC works on only string theory model, no, that's not true, or else the Flash wouldn't be able to rearrange the multiverse by going fast. So it has to work on both a brain model and a bubble model. Plus, DC has had crossovers with Marvel, and Marvel works on a quantum model, so, fair. So yeah, 4th dimensional, 4th dimensional being the temporal dimension, not spatial dimension. The 4th dimension the 4th spatial dimension would actually be the 5th dimension in total, which would be the Spear of the Gods, which is where Darkseid's true form is. Now, I think that's important to note that this Darkseid was just an avatar, not the main body, or not the main Darkseid, because he's actually disembodied. So he's more of a concept here, and he basically controls the avatars below. and for him to be anything above fourth dimensional would be a bit of a stretch. Now, so yeah, I'd put Darkseid at about that Avatar that was fighting against Anti-Monitor about mid fourth dimensional, and then Flash would be like mid high, like right below high, and maybe even high if you really want to go there. And I say that's reasonable, but you know, some people get mad. Oh, you're wanking is what a lot of people probably would say. But Sela Allen fused with the Speed Force. Now, the Speed Force in this sense encompasses all of the multiverses, all of the quantum multiverses. Now, if you know anything about quantum mechanics, there are an infinite amount of 3D universes in one multiverse, in one fourth dimensional universe, or one time dimension, I guess you can call it. Like I said, I go into more in depth on this in my dimensional tiering video. But essentially, this is above Infinite 3D. And there's all the infinite multiverses from Marvel and DC and all of that good stuff encompassed in the Speed Force. So that's important to keep in mind. So that's pretty much the video, guys. So like base Flash, you can say anywhere between 16 trillion times faster than light and white dwarf star level, to infinite speed and infinite attack potency. God of Death Flash, you can say he's mid-high to high, fourth dimensional. Sela Allen is infinite fourth dimensional. That's not even debatable. That's just a fact, because the fourth dimension, she fused with the entire thing, which would put her at infinite fourth dimensional. Debate me. My Discord's in the description. But that's the video, guys. That was pretty quick, actually. Let me see. Did I get everything? I feel like I haven't been talking for too long. Let me see. Infinite Mass Punch, White Dwarf Star level. Oh, and it's important to keep in mind, Barry, when he's in this form, he cannot hold back when he's in his God of Death form. He can't hold back because he has no control over death. So it's basically just death, insta-kill, one-shot 100%ing everybody. So if you're discussing God of Death Flash in a versus battle, there's no, he might start off holding back and that'll be his undoing. No, he starts off at 100% effort because he only has 100% effort. And it's important to note that Sela Allen has all of the hacks that the Barry and Wally do, the whole phasing through things and the infinite mass punch. Even though if you're literally the Speed Force, you're kind of always doing the infinite mass punch. But anyway, well, maybe not. Maybe she has like some ultra mastery over it, considering she is technically omnipresent. Oh, I totally forgot to mention her speed. When you consider her being infinite fourth dimensional, she's omnipresent across every multiverse simultaneously. So she's everywhere across every multiverse at the same time. So yeah, that's something important to keep in mind. She's this Flash has the base Flash has the potential to be omnipresent everywhere in one universe, while Sela Allen has the potential to be omnipresent in every universe. So that's an important distinction to make between this sort of nigh omnipresence and this omnipresence. So yeah. And Sela Allen can hold back, unlike Death. But I mean, infinite fourth dimensional, she can literally be whatever she wants inside the fourth dimension. As a matter of fact, it would probably be hard for her to suppress herself anywhere under like mid fourth dimensional, and even that would probably be a bit hard to do, given the fact that, like I said, it's infinite. So I mean, yeah, keep that in mind. Now I think I've covered it all. So freaking anywhere between 16 trillion times faster than light and omnipresent, and anywhere between White Dwarf star level and infinite attack potency. Now anywhere between mid mid-high and high fourth dimensional, and inarguably infinite fourth dimensional, omnipresent across everywhere in the entire multiverse simultaneously. Now that's all. So, oh yeah, by the way, someone should really tell Movie Flash that it would be, much faster to, go in a straight line. Alright, enough freaking messing around. Alright. So, until next time, the Cool Geek out. Bye. Well, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And the Cool Geek out. Bye.